There are two kinds of Salman Khan performances. One that makes you react like this,
कौन है यार क्या है यार
and the other that makes you react like this. Thankfully, we're speaking about the latter. There's a creator by the name of Jemmy Wemmy on YouTube who has created an entire series on specific actors and how they expose themselves in challenging roles, owing to them not having the acting talent or range. This is true for what a lot of people feel for actors like Dakota Johnson and The Rock, who are extremely popular, yes, but have been rightfully called out for their rather stale performances in movies. If cast differently, maybe the reception of those movies would have been significantly different. He has referenced on how a lot of these actors in Hollywood who are popular but lack acting talent are known for either their physical stature and attractiveness, and many times are passable in roles due to the presence of the right director. There are also cases where the story is so good that even a literal rock cannot fumble the project, or sometimes these actors just chance upon something in their being, something in their core spirit, that it has to be purely by accident. The YouTube creator describes this as the gods of mediocrity that touch the divine, and I feel like this is so true for so many Bollywood actors who either experience a string of mediocrity, are typecast for years, creating a perception among the audience that they cannot do anything beyond the scope of the roles they are known for, or are so bad just for so long that one loses hope only to be caught off guard when they end up doing the unthinkable, pull off a good performance. The title may make you feel like I'm saying all the actors in the video have no range, but the reason why the term no range is in colons is because it is to denote what was the narrative among the actors during a particular phase in their career, only to prove otherwise with a significantly convincing role. Please do write down your thoughts on which performance by an actor fits perfectly in this category. I would love to see if they end up featuring in the list or not. So here is Tried and Refused Productions with when Bollywood actors with no range perform. Kapil Sharma in Zwigato. Kapil Sharma has for the longest time been pigeonholed as the comedian on our television screens. A man who has had a long successful career, literally going up the ranks from several reality shows to becoming a franchise. He became so popular that producers only deemed it fit to back movies with him as the lead, mostly leading to mediocre stories that echoed the same vibe of Kapil the comedian we were all privy to on our televisions. His debut film Kis Kis Ko Pyar Karoon, which is getting a sequel by the way this year, largely depended on him projecting the bumbling comedian persona. So when it was announced that Kapil Sharma will feature in a Nandita Das directed movie titled Zwigato, the skeptics came right out the door. But Kapil proved the theory to be true that comedians in dramatic roles just extract some of the finest performances. Kapil's portrayal of Manas, a food delivery rider navigating the brutalities of the thankless job, was striking and gut-wrenchingly painful. He carried the exhaustion of the working class in his body language and the cadence of speech so well. I still vividly remember him brimming with frustration, his niceties being shut down by the rich and privileged, and how it all was internally breaking him. The performance worked because it was entirely stripped off of Kapil's public persona, making me think of the phenomena of the Joker performing in the circus, entertaining everyone while deeply aching behind the makeup. Katrina Kaif and John Abraham in New York. Whenever I think about Katrina Kaif and John, I see two actors with long and successful careers who have always been dragged for their limited acting range. Considered to be beautiful faces ideal for the bare minimum from a character standpoint, the late 2000s discourse around both was brutal. Katrina's Hindi was memed relentlessly, and this carried on even till the 2010s. John was always considered to be wooden, a pretty face who just was incapable of range. While John consistently challenged himself, by the way, contrary to popular belief, with indie films and experiments like Water, No Smoking and Kabul Express, I think when the masses noticed a different side to both the actors was when they featured together in New York, directed by Kabir Khan. Both delivered layered, emotionally raw performances in a post 9/11 narrative where their characters evolved from carefree students to people destroyed by FBI suspicion, racial profiling, and subsequently just a beautiful family that crumbled. Katrina's emotional distress in observing her husband slipping away from her to extremism, and John's quiet torment were moments where the performances overshadowed the persona and proved the naysayers wrong. While still inconsistent in their performances, there was a range and capability that caught everyone off guard in New York. Ananya Panday in Kho Gaye Hum Kahaan. I think hostility towards the nepotism trio has been incessant, Ananya Panday being targeted and called out for not only her one-tone performances, but her bloopers in media interactions too. Every performance was scrutinized under a microscope, and that comes with the pressure of being handed over projects merely on the basis of your surname. While everyone has started to acknowledge that the pivot that Ananya has done in her film career is almost to play urban privileged women who hail from metropolitan cities, a cadence and body language she is familiar with and can easily tap into, I did not connect with any of her performances until she finally appeared in the Netflix film Kho Gaye Hum Kahaan, where I genuinely felt the pain and the lack of identity that Ahana was experiencing. Is it a challenging role? Probably not. Did I feel like it was a rare occasion where Bollywood represented the angst of Gen Z well? Yes. Was Ananya as a vessel capable of conveying the same? 100%.
Yeah, big guy government.
Damn. At the cost of sounding like her PR now, I already have to confess that I did not get paid to say this. I thought she was great in the film. The caveat being though, that if Ananya does stick to only playing what she is familiar with, it's gonna get old real soon. Deepika Padukone in Cocktail. There was a consistent chatter about Deepika Padukone and her lack of ability as an actor in the initial phase of her career. A dream debut, yes, but she was called out for a poor dialogue delivery even by the director herself. As the rather oscillating career choices followed, the demerits as an actor were even more exposed. It begged the question, is this the case of a beautiful face meant for just glamorous roles? Will she have the ability to portray characters with nuance and depth? And while there were glimpses of the same in Love Aajkal, I think Deepika's role as Veronica in Cocktail absolutely changed the trajectory of her career. Chaotic, self-destructive and emotionally volatile, Deepika showed great range in the ugly depths one can venture into in the name of love. Her jealousy and her self-loathing was convincing, and even though I hate the regressive tone of Veronica's portrayal in the film, I can never fault Deepika for absolutely hitting it out of the park with this role. Tiku, Tamasha and Bajirao Mastani and Padmavat followed, but this was the start. Aditya Roy Kapoor in Aashiqui too. I was a kid who was glued to his TV, so I knew Aditya Roy Kapoor as the familiar VJ who had a boyish charm as he hosted several shows. When he transitioned to appear in movies, I could see the same kid in his initial movies, full of wonder, slightly awkward, funny in instances, but never really having a solid impression with audiences that one can conclude that the future is bright for the actor as a leading man. Is he going to be the mumbling sidekick all along, or will there be a breakthrough role? And in came Aashiqui 2, directed by Mohit Suri. As Rahul Jaikar, Aditya delivered a performance inundated in melancholy, vulnerability and helpless self-destruction. It was tragically real, and that coupled with the heartbreaking music of the film, Aditya suddenly became the boy to be taken seriously in Hindi cinema. While this same fire has been seen fleetingly in Fitur and Malang, I must take you back to 2013 and just remind you that this performance was all the rage. Varun Dhawan in Badlapur. The perception of Varun Dhawan after Student of the Year and Main Tera Hero was that he's going to try and emulate the same beats and genres and pitch of the successful collaborations his father had with Govinda and Salman Khan. Even though his first two films are considered to be commercially successful, Varun himself admits on how the chatter amongst critics was dismissive of his ability as a performer. Will he keep on doing silly roles or do something of substance and a dramatic and intense tone? Was his collaboration with Sriram Raghavan that totally came out of nowhere and surprised everyone. Badlapur. As Raghu, a grieving husband consumed by vengeance, Varun showed emotional gravity, stillness, and a scary darkness too. The rage in his eyes was intimidating, his silences carried threat, and his cruelty almost felt scarily just. In a career spanning over a decade after this, I still think that Varun momentarily lost himself in Raghu, something that I have not seen be replicated in any of his roles after that. Bobby Deol in Love Hostel. One of the most oscillating Hindi film careers is that of Bobby Deol, a charming star known for his hit music in the 90s more than his film roles. Bobby Deol through the 2000s just faded, shockingly transitioning to becoming irrelevant in the 2010s and even a meme as more years progressed. People reduced him to nostalgia and there seemed to be no sign of recovery, even with a commercial return with a movie like Race 3. A lot of people may have assumed that I will reference Animal in this list as Bobby Deol's performance that reflected his untapped range as an actor, but I think he pulled off a way more challenging role as the antagonist of Love Hostel, an extremely underrated Bollywood thriller by the way. Bobby was chillingly composed and unhinged, one that relied on stillness more than loudness. He was a man of a few words and only cared about his targets. It was terrifying. This is a movie that is severely slept on and something that I would highly recommend you all watch on Z5. He was insane in this film. Arjun Kapoor and Sandeep or Pinky Farrar. Probably the most trolled Hindi film actor right now is Arjun Kapoor, rightfully being criticized for his film roles, but has been subject to extremely inhumane and nasty comments on social media that seem to have become a humiliation sport that everyone partakes in for more likes online. When you hear the term burst into the scene, I do equate it to Arjun Kapoor in the 2010s, having a solid first impression with Ishaqzade and competent follow-ups with Aurangzeb and Two States. However, Arjun progressively became stale in his appearances, termed as having no expressions or being only capable of one-note acting, and this carried on for nearly a decade, only to prove himself with an extremely underrated film like Sandeep or Pinky Farrar, directed by Deepika Banerjee. Pinky, a suspended cop from Haryana, Arjun was subdued, tense, simmering with anger, yet emotionally fragile. The accent, the physical beast-like structure he had in the film, it provided a glimmer of hope, even though the film was a commercial disaster, mainly owing to the pandemic we were all experiencing. It, however, has not been smooth sailing ever since. Salman Khan in Sultan. The one thing everyone equates to Salman Khan the star, at least when it comes to acting performances, is that if Salman wanted to, he could. And this was true for so many of his performances through the 90s and 2000s, especially if I were to consider Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam and Tere Naam, where the actor was absolutely bare and unhinged respectively. However, when the commercial resurgence of Salman came for all of us to witness in the 2010s, many people noticed that Salman was essentially starring in persona-driven cinema. His films work because he's Salman Khan, not because of an intricate performance or craft. A lot of people may believe that this was proven to be wrong with a blockbuster like Bajrangi Bhaijaan, but I genuinely believe that Sultan provided us a Salman like never seen before. From a character standpoint, the sheer range that Salman showcased as Sultan Ali was far more challenging, in my opinion, than Bajrangi Bhaijaan. He possessed a humility, vulnerability, strength and great tenderness beneath the hard exterior. His scenes of humiliation, the struggle to rebuild his body, the guilt of his mistakes all coming crashing down provided a performance that I believe was also deserving of awards, really cementing in stone that if Salman wanted to, he could. Emraan Hashmi in Shanghai. I grew up in an era where Emraan Hashmi was not even spoken about or discussed among peers for his acting talent. It was either the label of being a serial kisser or just the actor who oozed charisma while walking in the frame and lip syncing to the most beautiful Hindi music. Emraan, contrary to popular belief, was on a dream commercial run with Jannat, Murder 2 and Dirty Picture. But what really cemented in the minds of audiences that there is an exceptionally layered actor beyond this commercial fluff was Shanghai, directed by Deepika Banerjee. Emraan played Joginder Parmar, a sleazy, morally conflicted videographer, and Emraan just embraced the ugliness, out of shape, stained teeth, and a defeated demeanor. A performance, in my opinion, that is still his career best. I hope he challenges himself in a similar fashion more consistently because it was so brilliant to see him in this role. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below of who are the actors who presumably had no range according to you but then surprised you. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.